you guys, I hope you are having a really great day. Okay, so first and foremost, this is our first official week in the house, and what I mean by that is I am not going to our previous house. He's not going to our previous house. I'm not traveling. He's not traveling. This is our first official week in the house. I am here because by the time you guys see this video, you're gonna be like, oh my God. So let me just give y'all a little, because my heart is, I think my boyfriend is gonna propose to me. Yeah. So let me give y'all a little backstory. He is very polite. He is very caring. He is very nice. And in my personal opinion, like, this is nonchalant and this is chalant. And he's somewhere here. He said he over here, but I think his chalant and my chalant is very different. So I'm gonna let him have it. But if I had to be the judge, his chalant is somewhere in the middle. He ain't, I don't care about you like that. But he's also not shout to the rooftop. He ain't done that. And until he do that, that's when I'll be like, ooh, you really like me. Let me tell y'all how I know. And I'm gonna whisper because he's upstairs taking a little nappy nap. Okay, so pretty much, I can't say that I had this very strong relationship with God. I was going to church. I wasn't reading my Bible. I understood the relationship, but I did not have my own relationship. And so a lot of things became excusable. But once I kind of decided that I was going to live a life where I understood who God was, and I prayed and I fasted and I moved into my house and I got my car and money was good and everything was good, I just said I was gonna do my best to be right. And unfortunately, you're dating and things happen, and that is the one area where there was like this kind of like gray mark. But at the same time, it was great for a particular reason. I felt like that gray line is something that is talked about, but no one really speaks about the real struggle. Because realistically, we have been together for like 3 years. And in the 3 years, we fasted, we've been abstinent and all that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't feel like it was enough. Because I have children, he has children, and so I wanted to make sure that the dynamic of this was gonna work. And I know it's so easy to say get married and figure it out, and it's like, nah, I've been there before. I don't want to do that again. Like, I don't want to do that. I just really want to make sure it's never. Anyway, let me share with you guys how I figured this out. I didn't go digging. I never looked. I never did anything. And like that show with That's So Raven, when she has that and she sees the flashback. Well, I had that moment where I'm like, and what came to me, the first thing that came to me, a couple weeks ago, I called my friend. I said, hey, Kevin. He's like, hey. And we're talking on the phone. And he said, all right, girl, have fun with your husband. I thought nothing of it. But that day, it hit me. And you know what I thought about? I thought about how Kevin and my man went and did that sign. If y'all remember that sign, right? That said Cyber Casanova Interior Design to put on people's lawns. Y'all remember that sign, right? I said, wait a minute. I was like, would he call Kevin and talk to Kevin about it? I said, yes, he would. And the last time when that sign was done, Kev said, I said your man was thoughtful. I said your man don't play about you. And you didn't think nothing of it. I don't think nothing of it because I know these things. So when you said it to me, it wasn't like a revelation. It was more like a, yeah, you're right, like that. So of course, when he said, all right, girl, you and your husband, I was like, because let me just say, this is only happening because of Kevin. Because when I had first met him, I said, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. And Kevin was like, girl, that's your man. I don't know what to tell you, but that's your man. That's your man. You know, you got to wait for the fog to clear. And once the fog clear, I promise you, you're going to be happy because that's your man. And I kept saying, the fog don't need to clear, honey. I'm okay. So before I get any further into my story, I want to thank Jumi and I want to thank Kevin, because those are two people that when I was like, girl, I don't work on myself. I don't work on my stuff. Me and Jesus go, okay? And they kept saying like, da-da-da-da-da-da. And so, yeah, anyway, everything that's happening is very normal to our day to day. I'm going to tell you when I got nervous. My favorite song right now is "Of the Ordinary." I want you laying me down in the ordinary. The angels up in the cloud, they're jealous knowing we found. That's my song. That is my song. So we get into the car, and he was like, what you want to listen to? I was like, whatever, just, you know, whatever, anything, that doesn't matter. It's okay. Put my seatbelt on. And because I'm so, like, I know we're finna get engaged tonight, you know, I start recording in the car. I'm gonna put it right here as I'm talking. So I'm in the car and I'm like, looking all cute, you know. Then he plays The Ordinary. And let me just tell you, baby, he like a good ratchet little something, okay? I just cover my ears while he's listening to it, but he likes him a good hood jam. And he plays Ordinary. The song finishes and he plays Ordinary a second time. And just in case if you don't know, The Ordinary is now being used for people's wedding and engagement songs. So I'm like, he takes me to this restaurant. We go to the front desk. They pull our reservation. And she says, oh, great. She puts this key around her wrist. And she said, follow her. And she's leading us to the back of the restaurant. And so I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, none of my friends ain't going godly. Y'all, I was so embarrassed because let me tell y'all. She opened the door to get into the restaurant, and it is the normal motif of the restaurant that they have these lit candles that have battery in them that are stationed in the front hallway. So you go down a hallway and then you come to this grand opening of the restaurant. So when she opens the door, it is dark, it is moody, and these candles are on the floor. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. I'm like, breathe, breathe, breathe. Baby, we turned that corner and that lady said, here's your table. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we sit down and he's talking to me. He's like, you know, you mean a lot to me. I really love you. Like, you know, whatever. And I'm just like, okay. And so I text her and I said, girl, we just went to dinner. I told you. And she said, no, it's going to happen. And I was like, whatever. So I totally ignored that. We had a really good date, really good dinner. We talked and he said he wanted to take me out. And then he planned another date. So this is the part that is tricky because the other day, 2 days ago, I was sitting in between his legs, laying on his lap, and he was just rubbing my head. And we were just talking, and he was asking me, like, whose ring did I like? And I just said, well, I only really saw one ring, you know? And for me personally, I was like, I think her ring is a little too big for me because I'm 5 feet. My fingers are short, you know? So like, it's good for her, but it'll be too big for me. Somebody gonna beat me up. Every year, his company does this banquet. And we had to go suit shopping. And I went with him to get his suit. And I went with him to go get his suit. So we got his suit. He asked me, like, how did I feel about it? Like, what should I do? So I told him, like, how to get it tailored and the alterations. We ordered some brooch online. I, made sure his hair was on point, making sure his beard, went with him to the barbershop. Like, I made sure he was good. I couldn't go with him because I was handling some stuff here in Atlanta. And then the following week, I had to go to Chicago, so I couldn't travel. And so he ended up going, but I made sure that man was packed. Lotion, moisturizer, deodorant, everything that he needed was packed, right? But before the trip, we're talking, and he's like, oh, this and this and this, like talking about suits, talking about the decor, talking about whatever. And then he says, what is your dream, like, engagement? Something like that. And I said, And he was like, would you want your family there, your friends? I was like, no, because everybody live out of town, and I would prefer that they're there for the wedding and not for the engagement because people would have to actually come into town. I don't want that. He's like, okay. And then I was like, I don't know, I should probably ask. And in my mind, I'm thinking, it'll give us time to prepare for next year, is what I said. But now he's being very sneaky. Hey.
I might go downstairs get something to eat, but in a little bit, I'm gonna run out and be with RJ in the office and at the U-Haul to give him a check for a client, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go downstairs and eat real quick.
All right. You took a nap?
Huh?
You took a nap?
I rested. I ain't nap, I rested.
Do you feel like you would want to hang up the drapery?
When I come back.
All right then. Drive safe.
Yeah.
All right, love you. Bye. Like me. Okay, not too much, Saudi. Not too much. Okay. So, let me just tell y'all, he's been acting very funny. And it's so funny because Push was like, you're gonna know. Because I didn't know, but leading up, I knew. So she was like, you're gonna know. I was like, I don't think so. And then my other friend was like, you gonna know, girl. And I was like, So honestly, if it wasn't for my friend calling me that day to ping, I still would be in the dark. I wouldn't have known because that's why I say he's in the middle. He's in the middle. So there's some days he's very much like, what's up? I'm like, what's up? And there's some days where he's like, oh, baby, I miss you, I love you. And right now, he's definitely in the, oh, baby, I'm like, babe, what's up? You don't love me? Yes, I love you, but what's up? You good? Yeah, I'm good. Just want to show you that I love you, that you do mean the world to me. And I'm like, okay, thank you. I love you too. Why are you being weird? So let me just tell y'all. We always cuddle in the bed, and I'm like in his arm, like in his armpit, and he just be scrolling on his phone, like, right? But then the other night, he leaned his body all the way like this, and maybe I was being a little too damn nosy because I glanced over and I saw it looked like a ring, but I couldn't make the ring out, y'all. Baby, I have very good investigative skills, but I could not see that. And I don't want to be nosy, so I'm not going to look in his phone. I don't want to see it. But I could have sworn I saw him texting somebody. And the way the thread looked, it looked like he sent the picture. It didn't look like the picture wasn't there. And so I was like, bitch. So I text my friends. I said, if I'm getting engaged, do y'all want to come? And everybody said yes. So I'm like, So anyway, I wanted to come here and tell y'all first that I think I'm going to get engaged. Y'all not gonna see the video until I'm engaged, because I don't want to look crazy. Okay, I could be wrong. Okay, I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. The next thing that put me on it was, I don't really celebrate my birthday, and he knows that. And every year he has really attempted to do something for my birthday. Let me just say this: every year for my birthday, he has attempted to do what I wanted to do for my birthday. And what I mean by that is, he says to me, babe, what do you want to do for your birthday? I don't want to do anything. I want to go to a hotel so we can have a staycation so the kids don't ask me to do nothing for them. I want to go get my clothes altered. I want to go have breakfast, and I want to have a picnic. I just want to chill. I don't want to have to answer my phone either. Bet, give me your phone. That's what I did for my birthday. And I had a great birthday. And he bought me some shoes, because I saw some shoes that I had wanted. And then my cousin got me my earrings, and he got me my bracelet. As quiet as it's kept, I'm a very, 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 very simple girl. That don't mean don't do too much. Let me just clarify, okay? I am a very, 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 like, I don't really care. My biggest spend is on my house, and I think he's figured that out. That's why when it comes to like the home renovations and things like that, he don't really fight me too much on it, because I will never ask for jewelry. I never ask for handbags. I never ask for shoes. I buy those things when I make my own money. When we're doing the kitchen renovation, he was like, how much do you need for the kitchen renovation? I was like, I need this much money. And I promise y'all, it was 3 weeks after the kitchen renovation, I got 2 brand deals that was the equivalent of the money he gave me for the renovation. So he continues to see a return on his investment. I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. There is somebody telling you something about yourself, and you don't want to hear it, you don't want to receive it. But let me just tell you, even if you're not in a place to receive it, because you need to hear it. You are in a point in your life where people are misdirecting you. They are misdirecting you because you are a benefit to them, and you are suffering. You are suffering. You are showing up. You are available. But the truth of the matter is, when your back is pressed against the wall, you don't have those people. It took me damn near 30 years for that to click for me. And I know that there are some of you guys that are on my page that are younger. And let me just tell you right now, if you can figure this thing out by 27, 28, 29, you may miss a lot of the trains that I got on. Because maybe there were some trains that I was definitely supposed to miss. There was definitely some trains that I was supposed to miss. But I allowed my own selfishness, my own need, my own pridefulness get in the way. And I got on them damn trains, and I paid heavily, and I don't hold anybody accountable but myself for them experiences, because I shouldn't have had them, right? But now I have friends that have discernment that tell me, hey, you don't have to show up. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, hey, you don't have to. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, hey, you don't have to. Okay. Hey, you don't get to do this, or you don't get to show up like this, or you don't get to say that, and you don't get, and I just be like, okay, y'all, I got it. And it has shaped me to the woman that I am, and I am so grateful. Now, let me just say this right now. I've always been a wife. Clock that. Please clock that. I've always been a wife. But I think the level of obedience that I am bringing into this relationship now is different from the last, because I know that I didn't trauma bond. I know that I didn't stay quiet. I know that I spoke my truth. I stood my ground. I was vocal. I you know, settled the things that I needed, made sure that they were being met. And so this just feels very different. God has something so amazing in store, and I feel like we're going to check every single goal. We are going to check off every single thing, and we ain't gonna have to worry about nothing. And so, baby. Anyway, y'all have a good night. This is only part 1. I'll be back because we are currently in July. So y'all probably get another one by the end of July. Y'all probably get one in August. And then, of course, I'll be back here in September. But hell, it's naked today, baby. But when I come, I don't think I'm going to do a video on my birthday. But a couple days after my birthday, I'm going to come back and be like, all right, y'all. I got to go. Bye.